Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Litter Media Live Special Edition. I'm your host, Mike Smith, and joining us today in our studio, we have Lisa Cutler with Elizabeth's Hope. If you're familiar with Elizabeth's Hope, we're going to tell you a little bit more about them anyway, and an upcoming fundraiser that they have in our area. The interview today is brought to you by Hometown Motors Incorporated. Back with Lisa Cutler of Elizabeth's Hope right after this.
At Country Clipper, pride runs deep. We take pride in knowing our mowers help create a space for families to make memories. That our features transform mowing into an enjoyable experience. Most importantly, we take pride in knowing the decision to purchase a Country Clipper will be one you can be proud of for years to come. Country Clipper Zero-Turn Mowers.
We're back with Lisa Cutler of Elizabeth's Hope. Welcome. Good to have you with us today.
Thanks for having us.
I think a lot of people know about what Elizabeth's Hope is, but in case they are not familiar, the name and how that is involved with what you do.
Yeah. So we've been an organization for about 34 years now. Started in Circleville, and the board that formed back then wanted to come along women that were in an unplanned pregnancy and just come alongside of them and provide mentorship. And so that's what we still do today. Any woman, whether it's planned or unplanned pregnancy, we come alongside of them and provide them with services. But so our name came from one of the board members back then of Elizabeth's Hope. And we weren't known as Elizabeth's Hope back then. We were known as Pickway Women's Center. And so the board came together and decided that we should change our name to Elizabeth's Hope because of the biblical story of Mary going to her cousin Elizabeth to find encouragement during an unplanned pregnancy. People don't think of it that way, but Jesus was an unplanned pregnancy.
For Mary it was.
For Mary. Yeah, it was planned by God, but it was unplanned by Mary. And so Mary traveled to go see her cousin Elizabeth, and that's where she received encouragement and hope. And so that's where we got the name Elizabeth's Hope.
So how many counties are represented here locally, and what are those counties?
Yeah, so we actually serve 5 counties in the area. Pickway, we started in Pickway. We came to Chillicothe, so Ross County, and then we went to Waverly and Pike County, and then we went to Jackson. And then we our last center that we opened was in Greenfield, and that's been about 7 years ago, I think. And then we also have a mobile medical unit that travels around to all those counties, providing limited ultrasound, overseen by a medical director. We have a nurse on staff that is on that mobile unit to provide the ultrasound, but then we also have a medical director that oversees us, and she's a practicing OBGYN.
I know that along with those ultrasounds where the mother-to-be can actually see, the baby inside of her, but there are some other services that you have been providing for moms-to-be.
Yeah, and so we can provide pregnancy tests, but we also, our main core program is a mentorship program to where we provide parenting education, and a lot of times the courts will even refer over women that have maybe been in a situation where their children have been removed and they're trying to do reunification, and so the courts will refer over those families, and we'll provide parenting education to them. And then our program is an incentive type program. Our goal is to get women and their children into a secure, where they have housing and a job and everything and can provide for their children. And so our goal is to get them into that, get them to that place where they can provide security for their children. And so they get incentives where we can provide them with diapers, car seats, wipes, anything that you need for a child under the age of 3, 4 years old. And so we can get all those things for them, and then they can work towards getting their GED. We have volunteers that help with that and stuff, and then we can also connect them to resources. Like if they want to go to college, sometimes we have partnerships where we can find them a scholarship to go to school and just come alongside them. The goal is to come alongside them and help them to understand all of their options. You know, when a woman finds herself pregnant, she actually doesn't have just one option or two options. She really has three options. And so we cover all those options with her and just walk alongside of her no matter what her decision is.
Right. I know you've had many success stories, and because of confidentiality, you can't name names, but you can certainly tell circumstances. And I know one young lady who became pregnant. She was an unwed mom. In fact, I think a teenager that went through Elizabeth's Hope, and to my knowledge, even today, they're doing fantastic.
Yes. Over the years, we've had several, like I said, we've been around for about 33 years, and we've had several success stories and stuff. And just recently, we were able to walk alongside of a woman who was considering abortion as her option because she was getting ready to be an empty nester, and she and her husband had an unplanned pregnancy, and it wasn't planned by them, but they really seriously were considering abortion as their option because they just didn't, they weren't expecting this. They were getting ready to be empty nesters. They were planning their life after their children and stuff, and then now they're expecting a new little one, and that was a shock. Yeah. That was a shock for them. And so we were able to come alongside them and just talk about that option and what it might look like, got her to slow down for just a minute to say, well, what would my life look like if I made this decision? But what would my life also look like if I didn't make this decision? And as she walked through that, they decided that it was best for them to carry and parent this child. And so they're excited. They're expecting a little baby boy here in several months. It's still, because it's fresh, so she won't be due till the first of the year and stuff. But they're really excited. Once they got past that fear of the unknown, then they're really excited that they're actually going to have this baby.
So you have a fundraiser coming up here in the next few weeks. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So on September 26th, we have a annual fundraising banquet. We haven't had it since 2019, so this is our first year since then, just because of everything that was going on in the world, and everybody's tired of hearing the C word.
The other C word,
the other C word. And so we're getting back in there to have our full-fledged fundraising banquet. It happens at Chillicothe Baptist on September 26th. The doors open at 6, and our banquet starts at 7 and ends at 9. You have to have reservations to that. So if anyone's interested, they can reach out to any of our centers in any of those counties to make a reservation, or they can call the admin office, which is 740-772-4373.
Now, do you need those reservations by a certain date?
Yes, absolutely. We would prefer to have those reservations by next Monday, the 18th.
Okay.
And so
anytime you're dealing with food and setting up, you need it's very helpful to know how many
exactly.
people
You need
are
to let the caterer know whether we have a full banquet room, which we're trying to fill 48 tables, 8 to table. So that's quite a few people.
Now, there are other ways that Elizabeth's Hope has had over the years to raise money. The one that our church always participates in, full disclosure, First Wesleyan Church in Chillicothe, the baby bottles.
Yes, baby bottles. So our revenue streams comes from several different areas. One is our fundraising banquet. One is the baby bottle, what most churches and stuff know is the baby bottle campaign. And so we distribute that to the area churches, and they collect change or cash. Change has become a little difficult to process lately, but we're trying to come up with some new solutions to that. But so we do a baby bottle change campaign in the area churches, but then we also have monthly supporters from area donors that give regularly, and some businesses and stuff too. And then we also take selective grants. Since we are faith-based as a whole, we try to make sure that we do not take any grants that have any strings attached where we aren't free to share the gospel message. So,
this program is heard or watched outside just the counties that you mentioned. So if someone in a situation that needs that mentoring, that maybe they don't live in the county you mentioned, I'm sure you probably have contacts in other counties that you could
yes.
help with that.
Yes, absolutely. We actually have been known to go outside of our normal counties and our normal service area just to meet with a girl and stuff and get her connected. But if they call us, we can connect them to other resources just like us in their area. We actually had a call from West Virginia last week, and she didn't know where to go, and so we were able to talk on the phone, and then I was able to look up. She wanted to drive clear here. It was a good 5-hour drive for her, and I found an organization that was close to her within an hour away, and so she went to that organization to get help.
That's fantastic. It's amazing what the internet, for some of the bad things that happen, there's some good things that can happen too. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, with this upcoming event on the 26th, again, we need you to get a place reserved if you want to come. And that is, I think you said the 18th is the deadline to get signed up.
Yes, the 18th.
So today we're doing this live on the 12th. They've got several more days.
Yeah. Monday. That's Monday, I believe, is the 18th. So if they get in touch with us by Monday, we should be able to get them a seat available. So,
Lisa, anything else you want to mention about Elizabeth's Hope that maybe I haven't brought up?
Well, let's see. That's a good question. I would just say that, there in Ohio today, there actually is a vote that's coming up in November that's very important. And so for us, that's one thing I've been talking a lot about is the vote that's getting ready to take place in the state of Ohio in November about part of it. It's not all of it, but part of it actually extends the right to get an abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy. And so for that, we know that can be it's definitely a hot topic. But it's a huge decision for a woman. And we believe at Elizabeth's Hope that the women have a legal right to choose their options. And so we go through all of their options, but they also deserve the right to have an informed choice. Right. And so as a woman myself, I actually was a teen pregnancy. That's kind of what led me to Elizabeth's Hope. And unfortunately, I chose at the time, my mom and I, we thought that abortion was the right option for us. And so we did that, my mom arranged for it and took me to have an abortion. And what we didn't know is that the mental health side effects of abortion that it would have on me. And I went through depression and different things that I struggled with clear into my 30s. I know I probably some people say I look like I'm in my 30s, but I'm not. I'm actually in my 50s. And so, it took me until my 30s to actually go process all that and to get to the point where I wasn't contemplating suicide and different things like that. Now, all women are different. Sure. Some women may not be that point. They may think that that's the best decision that they could have ever made. But there are little telltale signs that show that they still struggle with those situations. And so at Elizabeth's Hope, we not only come alongside of women that are happy to parent and carry their children and are just working through that and looking for mentorship, but we also come alongside those women that have made an abortion decision that need help, that just want to talk to someone. And so if that's you, because 1 in 3 women have experienced abortion, if that's you, we can help with that too. We'd love to come alongside of you, help you to resolve those feelings and the different things that you may be feeling from making a past abortion decision.
Right. So I guess if you're not familiar with, or maybe have never had to contact Elizabeth's Hope, you could probably just put that in the search engine and it'll come up, all the different locations that you have with a phone number and the email and so forth.
Absolutely. And our website is actually ehprc.org. It's real simple. Elizabeth's Hope Pregnancy Resource Center.org. So it's ehprc.org.
Very good. Well, Lisa, we appreciate what you're doing, number one, and we appreciate your coming in to share with us not only about what Elizabeth's Hope is all about, but now hopefully the community can get in behind you and help support this very worthwhile cause.
Yep, our community's been great over the years.
Yeah.
So.
Again, Lisa Cutler with Elizabeth's Hope. She's been our guest today on Litter Media Live Special Edition, brought to you by Hometown Motors Incorporated. I'm Mike Smith.